Welcome back to another tutorial. Thought it'd be fun to do sort of a little simple landscape, and I'm feeling like I want a little bit of color in the sky in the background, but we'll kind of see once we get started. So I'm just going to grab my pencil here, and I want sort of a slanted slope here where the background trees are going to be, and then we'll have our foreground one somewhere. So I just want sort of like an angled down. And I don't want it exactly in the middle of the paper, so I'm going to start down maybe just a little bit from the middle, and I don't want a straight line either. So I'm going to have a few little like bumps and curves, and then maybe it kind of slopes down like that. Okay, so those are the main colors I'm going to use in the background. So I'm just going to grab some clean water now, and we're just going to fill in our background. So up to where the foreground is. So I am going to go ahead and grab my pink here, and I'm going to drag it out so it's a little bit less concentrated at first. And I'm thinking I want it sort of right in the middle of my sky. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab the purple and get this right next to the pink and even overlap a little bit. And while there's not too much water on my brush, I'm just kind of going in and helping these two colors kind of mix and live together. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab my indigo, and I'm going to get this over here, and then same thing, I'm going to start getting it when I don't have as much paint on my brush, just start mixing it in with the purple a little bit. If you're enjoying this video, then be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more watercolor tutorials. So really quick, I'm going to mix this indigo with a little bit of my deep sap green and a little bit of neutral tint. And I'm just going to try to make a very dark, like greeny blue color. Just going to see if we can get a few little trees here in the background that might sort of soften out. And I might even dab a little bit off my brush. And I'm just being very loose. So I'm just like wiggling back and forth, really, and I might even get a few that are a little bit lighter, but I've got to make sure to dab off any extra water. And as it starts drying, then I can start being a little bit more thoughtful of where I'm placing my branches. Now I still don't want these to be super detailed, but I can, you know, kind of leave some spaces there. And I don't want them to be all the same size. So I'm doing all of this and we haven't stopped to dry this yet. So I'm just kind of letting this paint do its thing. But you can see just how dry my brush is at this point, but I still have enough color on it to get a few little trees in. And start working on creating a little bit of snow. So we want to get a little bit of the color from the sky onto the snow. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this pink and just dab it off here. And I'm just going to start getting this down. Maybe I'll even grab a little bit of water. And I don't want it to be like too concentrated or anything. Grab a little bit of purple and just kind of get this in. And then grab some water and just rub that out to the edges. And I'm trying to be careful not getting up too close to our tree line there. And then I'm going to grab this blue indigo that we were using. And I'm just going to kind of get this in a few areas just to create some little shadows. Okay, so I think I kind of like that. We have a little bit of hint of color down here. So we're going to go ahead and dry this completely. And then we'll come back with our next step. So now I want to put a nice big tree, like a focal point, into our foreground. And I'm thinking since I have a lot more of our like foreground space down here, I might put it in somewhere in this area. So I'm just going to take my bigger size 8 brush right now and just mix up some more of this color. So we had indigo, and I'm going to grab some of my deep sap green, which is just a very dark green. I want the tree to be pretty tall, and I'm thinking like somewhere in this area. So I'm just going to start where I want the top of it to be and just create a little bit of a line, and it doesn't have to be a perfect line or anything. We're going to start by creating a few little V's from the top. And then I'm going to start creating some branches coming out. And I'm going to create little lines coming from these branches. And they're not going to line up, hopefully, perfectly. But some of them will be a little bit longer. And some of them will be a little bit shorter. Some of them won't be quite as full. So maybe I'll have one kind of coming down this way, and you can work on one side at a time, or you can work on both sides, but I'm just doing little lines on the bottom of that line and then little lines on the top just to make it look like it's a little fuller. Okay, so I'm going to grab my Dr. Peach Martin's Bleed Proof White, and you could leave it like this if you want, or you could just go ahead and splatter some white onto the background for snow, or you can leave it without the snow. But I want to add a little bit of snow to our tree here, and just a little bit of snow splatter in the background. So I'm just using my size 4 brush here, and I'm going to grab my paper towel because if I need to blot off a little bit, I can. And I'm just gonna get a little bit of this in, so not too much, because our tree is, because it's not a super full tree, so I'm not gonna completely cover everything, but I do want to get a little bit of snow on the end of some of these branches. And this is where you're going to kind of go and fix your branches at the end, or if your trees completely just become one blobby mess, you can go and kind of define some of the branches this way. So you can see I'm hitting more towards the outside of some of these branches, and I'm just dabbing this on, and some of the smaller ones I'm just dabbing a very little bit amount of this on. So I'm going to grab some water here with my bleed-proof white. I want just nice small splatters, and I'm just going to go ahead and splatter this in a few little spots. Just to create a little bit of snow in the background. And if you want even smaller splatters, you can kind of tap a brush against and you'll get some smaller ones. But I like that, just a soft little snowfall in the background. So that's how our card turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you'll paint along with me. And thank you so much for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next video.